Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Bass in your face. Bass in your face.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because on this channel, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic. So for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I also have a much smaller channel called Latina Diaspora, where I discuss issues pertaining to Latinos in the United States. The link to that channel is in the description. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or just recently joined as late as today, I really appreciate your love and continued support. Also, want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter into your devices and those who watch from the clouds, including the haters. So, what I'm going to ask you to do, if you have not done so already, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, like, and set the bell notification to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. So, tonight's episode is another edition of Open Discussion. For the benefit of those of you who do not know what happens during open discussion, what I will do is I will share my opinions regarding several topics. Of course, you, the audience, that is those who are in the chat or watching in the clouds, will have an opportunity to opine regarding each topic which I will discuss. Also, if there's anything that you will want me to discuss, I will do my best to comply. However, if there's anything that I am not familiar with, I will be transparent and state so. Now, before we get into the topics, let me just make this announcement. Next week's schedule is going to be the following. I'm going to be going live on this channel Monday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night. So Thursday night will be my night when I'll do my episode of Open Discussion. Usually I do that on a Friday night. It's just that I am going out. So I have a couple of social engagements next week, which I will be attending. Because unlike some people, I have a life outside of YouTube. As far as my other channels concerned, I'm debating whether or not I'll go live on Sunday of next week or Saturday of next week. I will make a decision regarding that this weekend. Okay. Also, I want to make it perfectly clear that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit that link and opine regarding anything that I'm going to be talking about, you may do so. However, If I never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up on the backstage to make sure that no one flashes anything inappropriate, which will cause the people of YouTube to take down their stream. Just give me a moment. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to be discussing, usually I don't talk about people, but I'm going to be talking about Mr. and his so-called privacy complaints. Now, let me just give you a little nerve there to find, to find out, so to find out how this all started. Apparently, there was a person that at least in the beginning seemed to be okay with Miss Elite. Okay. At one point, I think Miss Elite appeared on Mr.'s channel. Uh, in the course of time, um, they became estranged, so to speak, and he had made it expressing an interest to trying to meet Miss Elite and an interest regarding engage in intercourse, of which she declined. Ever since then, this individual has been harassing Miss Elite on several occasions. Okay, um, acting up at the beginning as a troll, and then now lately he has resorted to file false privacy complaints, of which has been well documented. Okay. Now, this individual is unique in the sense that he's one of the rare individuals that not only has he been kicked out of TikTok, not only that he has multiple YouTube channels deleted due to harassment, but also got kicked out of Rumble, which is bizarre because basically Rumble you can get away more or less for anything. So for anyone to get kicked out of Rumble, um, that's serious. So he must have done something um, horrible to get kicked out of Rumble. And of course, he was a thorn on my side briefly with his threat to having to have me deported and report me to ICE, despite the fact that I am a U.S. citizen, okay, with documentation to verify my status. Okay. Well, I'm still waiting for ICE to knock on my door, and I suspect that will never happen. But I mean, unfortunately, you have certain individuals that have some sort of trauma that has never been dealt with. You have certain individuals, you know, who don't have much of an active moral compass, who is not able to deal with disagreements partially. Now, this person had claimed to be married. Okay. It's been proven without beyond the shadow of doubt that Mr. is not planning to get married. I don't know um, what his relationship status is concerned. Frankly, I don't care either way. Good evening, Don Armando. Thank you very much for stopping by. So, my advice, if I was the type of person to give an advice, is the following. First of all, get therapy for whatever trauma that you have gone through. Stay off of social media. Actually, his name is Senor Payaso. And for those of you who do not know what that means Mr. Clown. Because he is a clown. Okay. And not only has he been harassing Miss Lee, he's also been harassing Femi and also been harassing prison. Now, in all fairness, this prison, yeah. I mean, look, I don't know her. I just interacted with her one time. She come across as a decent person. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to be truthfully honest, some of the individuals that are in these elite circles, I do not know very well. The only one I kind of know a little bit is Miss Elite and Femi, because I had the opportunity to interact with these two ladies. What I can say, um, while the shadow of the doubt that these ladies um, tend to be independent, proud, and they're passionate, particularly Femi. Okay. Okay. Other than that, I really don't know. So the next person I'm going to talk about is the fake mulatto. Now, in one stream that again Miss Elite did air, which I think it's still air, talking about black love. Okay. Now, what happened is this person, I think he called him mulatto, pan African, whatever the fluffy calls himself. I don't know. So what he did was he took the topic, which was black love, and then made it about mulattoes and how black people are intellectually inferior, and how black people as a community are slowly dying out. Now, first of all, as I stated when I had my interactions with this individual, is the following. In every community, you have good people and you have bad people. In every community, you have intelligent people and okay. But the fact of the matter, calling that black people is the least intelligent, um, that really find it odd, considering the achievements that Black Americans have achieved in the area of science, in the areas of business, in the areas of politics, in the areas of sports, and things of that nature. And basically over an hour of him just basically going on a tirade, uh, her, harassing family, harassing Miss Ali, arguing with the other black dude, I don't know his name, and then being disrespectful towards me. As far as him not knowing who I am, claiming that he represents Latinos better than I am. Excuse me. Excuse me. First of all, this is a question, and I believe he was asked this question, but he of course he didn't answer the question. If you are advocating for mulattoes, why do you care about what's going on in the African American community? Now, I see here we have a guest. So let me just state for the record that the views of those who appear on the show do not necessarily reflect the whole. Any attempt to copy material without the consent of the host is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive the right to some of the views that people are making consider offensive some views. If you do not like the content, you can block the channel. Okay. Good evening, Georgia.
Hey, Jose, good evening. How's it going?
How are you doing tonight?
Oh, man, it's been a very painstaking day, and I am now waking up from a nap. So
Okay.
that's why I sound a little half dead here, but what are we talking about right now?
We're talking about multiple topics. So we're talking about an individual who identifies as mulatto, who appeared
Mhm.
on one of Miss Elite's lives. But yeah, he's talking about he represents Latinos better than I do, and being concerned about how black people are intellectually inferior.
Oops. Sorry, my alarm went off.
It's okay.
Um, okay, well, that's interesting to make a bold statement or bold claim in regard to him representing Latinos probably better when he is not even that himself. Okay.
Correct.
Sounds delusional, I would say.
Yes.
It sounds a bit
Um,
delusional that I would represent myself as something that I could never ever become. Okay. Sounds like
yeah.
delusion.
Yes. And he was being very disrespectful towards me, which I have to point out to that intellect, as far as chronologically speaking, I'm old enough to be his father.
Hmm.
Okay. But I mean, basically, he just took a topic which was black love and basically focusing on how mulattoes are the superior group and things of that nature, and that basically we're all closeted mulattoes and things of that nature. And it's like, first of all, dude, you don't not know me for Adam. I mean, and I find it really bizarre that all these people are the loudest critics and they don't know anything about me.
Well, welcome to the gritty streets of YouTube, bro,
I know.
where very counterproductive behaviors like that are going to thrive. But yeah, like it's funny that you mentioned how you said that he was spouting out like supremacist talking points.
Hmm.
You are going to have even some people who align with extremism, even within the quote unquote mulatto sector, too. Now, that is just inevitable, but consider it just a clan with a tan.
Yeah.
That's what I would just, lump that into. Just some more like self hatred BS, to be quite honest. Been there, done that.
Yes. I agree. I agree. Now, I didn't know that we suddenly became incels.
Oh, yeah. Well, all people have to do is just watch my short video, and they'll get the accurate definition as to what an actual incel is and the stuff that are required to fit the criteria of what that is. The fact that me and you do not at all
Yes.
objectify or denigrate women automatically disqualifies us as incels. But consider it just another slanderous label.
Well, I'm going to be devoting a whole live regarding the topic on Monday. So,
Mhm.
at least one person is going to be triggered.
Oh, well, just projection, exactly what the introvert Boricua was once saying before.
Yes.
Oh, well.
But it's amazing. Yeah. But I find it amazing that if men decided to until marriage automatically makes us incels.
Yeah, I brought that topic up too in my short video too. I mean, just choosing to pursue like sexual purity, I guess, automatically brands you a quote unquote incel. Okay, that's interesting. Um, like I said in the video, I don't want to end up forming some soul tie with a woman who may not even end up sticking by my side in the long run, or vice versa. So at that point, why even do it? Think about it. Uh, get out of your flesh for the time being and get out of your feelings and just think about it for a second. Because sex is also a spiritual and energetic contract you're making with that other person, though. And if even for people, by the way, who don't really believe, that's okay. Because guess what? Biology will school you then. Because what happens during the intercourse, release of endorphins and dopamine and oxytocin, which bonds you with the other person. And then afterwards, you start to feel some kind of connection now to that person since you crossed that line. Well, there you go. Now you've taken a little bit of somebody else. Not interested.
Yeah.
And
And for
if
yeah,
people
yeah.
are saying that, no, sorry,
I'm
go
sorry.
on.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Please
No,
go
I was
ahead.
just saying though is that yeah, I know that me and you are like hardcore Christians at this point. But even if you are done, just making the point though, even if you're not a believer, you can at least admit that biology says that you are undeniably forming some kind of connection with that other person, even if you may not end up caring about him or her in the long run.
Yes.
Not
And
interested.
and contrary to what some of the ops say, I mean, we have opportunity to engage in intercourse with the opposite sex. We chose not to, okay, because we have a moral compass. We do not treat women as a form of gratifying lust. We actually value women. We appreciate women. We think that women are wonderfully made by God.
Amen. And then not only that, but if I weren't like walking in celibacy, I would not be doing what I do out there on the streets. If there was like a lust issue going on, I would not be ministering and just sharing the gospel with those women out there on the streets. And you
Yeah,
want to
but
know, I mean, and part of the huge reason why they end up trusting me and end up respecting me in the long run is because I have never ever crossed that line with them, and I don't even want to. Don't want to. And they can actually see that. If you're really looking to really transform a life and inspire somebody to recognize their own dignity, why not be a man who is into sexual purity and not wanting to cross that lustful line? See what I mean?
now there's someone in the backstage saying, "Okay, let me just bring him up. Good evening.
Hey,
Good evening. How you doing?
good, Don. Good to see you.
Guidance."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I usually do this to Don Jose once upon a while, you know. I actually look like I actually put a different avatar where it's like either somebody who is, you know, Haji or something like that. So therefore you could get a laugh. So you have to keep him on his toes a little bit. But how you doing, Don Jose?
Oh, I'm doing fine. We're just talking. We're just talking about
Basically,
uh
being a celibate man makes you an incel, I guess.
Yeah.
Me personally, I hate to say it, but I would, to some degree, there's some women that actually think that I'm good looking. So I hate to say this, and God forgive me for saying it, but when I was single, I could never really identify as an incel because women actually thought me as a good looking man. But
Mhm.
now I thank God. I thank God that I'm married. And if women think that I'm good looking, I'm like, yeah, my wife thinks so too. But that's it. That's where I'm going with the conversation, and that's how I'm going to keep it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I can easily walk away from this too and
Hmm.
easily get a woman. But that's just going to backfire in the long run because it would be a woman who's just mainly secular, though, or a woman who is willing to even cross that line, even if we're not married. She will be the type to say, "Oh, I don't follow organized religion, this and that. I don't want to hear that." Yeah, there's plenty of women like that around here, but I don't want that. You
I
actually
mean,
want a woman.
one thing I got to say is God is blessing you because you're in the heart of what is considered corner country, or
Sin
may- or maybe that's California. I don't know.
Nevada, Sin City, Las Vegas. So, and then not only that though, but if you look at places like Summerlin, Nevada, though, it's a really lovely suburb outside of Vegas, though. So there's Summerlin. We have Summerlin here, and you just look at the place, and it's a pretty chill, idyllic community of Summerlin,
Hmm.
Nevada.
Hmm.
But other than that, it's just like normal day to day life. I don't like gambling. I do not like all the other maybe degeneracy that you may even find out here. It just inspires me just to be that light where darkness thrives. You know.
Me personally, I don't even. When I was younger, I might have saw a point, but then I never really saw a point of going to Las Vegas. No offense, Jojo, because I don't like losing money. So, what would be the point of me to go to Vegas? We could just go see all the hotels and all that stuff, and then people quickly get married at Nevada.
Hmm.
So, what is the use for me to actually go to Vegas for? That's what I want to say. Just to take pictures.
Um, I'm sure that other things she can do in Vegas other than gamble. I mean, there are shows that are out there.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
there's a variety of yeah things to do out here aside from gambling. Because yeah, I could just tell you right now is that you plan on putting your money in that slot machine, you are already predetermined to lose, by the way, just because of how they rig them. But you can visit Mount Charleston or the Red Rock Canyons. We also have Lake Mead too and Lake Las Vegas as well.
Oh, okay.
So there's other stuff that you can actually do out here beside, you know, be a party junkie, which is yes, what it's very known for out here and just other black pilling stuff too, to be quite honest though. But no, there's also things that serve as a white pill as well, such as the mountain or even a visit to the Grand Canyon. That's another spot. Or there's Zion National Park in Utah, which is
Yeah.
half away. So
Hmm.
don't really let all the dark stuff deter you.
No, it's not even about the dark stuff. It's just that I've seen movies about Vegas and everything like that, and I was like, oh, and at that time, I'm like, yeah, I could go to Vegas. Yeah, I can't. Then it was like, my aunt, and she rest in peace. She and my own godfather, They actually went out several times to Vegas. But me, I never really seen the urgency to actually go and visit that place. That's what I meant to say. Because because if it's not like a business deal or anything like that, if I was to go over there for the future, like me personally, myself. I mean, back then and now, I would not see the urgency on why I would go to Las Vegas. You get my drift?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't recommend going to Las Vegas in the summertime when it gets to be like 115 or 120 in the shade. Now,
Highest record was 120, but don't even let that stop you either.
Right. I
yeah, but
mean,
but you know how I feel about heat and cold weather. And for me to go to Las Vegas in the summertime, you might as well book a reservation for me to go to the ER.
oh no,
Understand.
no, 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 no. But this is one thing I don't understand. Right. I got a whole bunch of people that on my friends list on Facebook that have been to Dubai. But then me and my wife, knowing how we are and everything like that, we don't think that Dubai is a good option for us
Mhm.
because in Dubai, the law is, and it applies to foreigners too. No, no display of PDA, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've heard of
Yeah,
that. Yeah, they had a rule like that, and even in Qatar.
yeah. So with that adage, I'm not too keen to go to Dubai. And I was even telling my mom that too one day before she passed. She's like, "Hey, so why don't you go to Dubai?" I'm like, "They don't respect Christians out there. Maybe I'm wrong, but they don't."
Well, my understanding is Dubai is a very conservative Muslim country. Now, I really don't know too much about it. Maybe
Yeah,
you, George, share a little bit light.
Essentially, what I was once learning about Qatar, specifically Qatar, is
hmm
that you couldn't display PDA if you weren't married. They practically outlawed fornication, sex outside of marriage at the time, though, but I think those laws ended up getting repealed because of how foreigners thought it was just too unfair.
yeah,
You know,
But those are places that I don't really follow, though, but I can imagine it being pretty hard on tourists because Dubai is a tourist area.
yeah, yeah. But one, okay.
I'm also not
Now,
interested, too, by the way, to be quite honest.
yeah. Now, of course, I'm a little different that way. Like in that sense, before I visited a country, I would try to learn as much as I can regarding the country I'm visiting. So therefore, I do not do anything that's considered offensive over there because their sense of mores and social norms are different.
I will say, I did read about it a little bit here. So they do say that in Dubai, some forms of PDA, such as kissing, hugging, or holding hands, might be viewed as unacceptable in the public. And it's recommended to avoid overt displays of affection in public areas to avoid any potential issues or misunderstandings. It's not so they're not really going to like legally penalize you for that, but just expect to get some weird looks from people around you, which could, kind of slightly ruin your trip a bit though, because it'll make you think that you went to a country only to feel very unwelcome there.
Okay,
I wouldn't want that.
understandable.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to travel to the other side of the world only to feel very unwelcome because I wanted to kiss my wife in public. Okay,
Hmm.
put a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
Made me feel that I wasted a lot of money though.
But like I said before, it's amazing that we became incels. Okay.
Oh,
But I say we should form a convention of incels.
well, you do know out here, though, we do have the Las Vegas convention. We also have the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. So, what is it called? Going to be called the Incel Con?
I mean, if you
Maybe.
actually look at it, right?
Mhm.
But
It's just crazy on how people could just generalize and try to say something. You know what's funny? I've been with my lady for for 11 years and 3 years going on 4 years married, right? Never I would think by some lame idiot that I'm gonna be that they actually call my wife a beard. I'm like, a beard for what? I mean, if anything, I know for my lifetime that I've always been with women. So why would I use anybody as a beard, as a quote unquote beard? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but remember, this person actually said that I was a disappointment to my departed mom.
and I don't know what, didn't somebody else show me about this person's calling me bald? It's funny because
Nah, nah,
that
nah,
was
nah, nah,
funny. That part would
nah.
crack me up, though. I'm like, I'm
nah.
not
You
bald.
want you want to know what's funny, George? It
What?
was around it was around that time that same person was like he they went up and they actually said on their post that you are not my friend and you are a mass shooter. I'm like
Oh,
I'm
oh.
I'm I'm, I'm, I'm like if y'all just don't really know that you and I before YouTube we knew of each other. Like come
Oh,
on.
yeah. True. Not only that, but it's
And
hilarious. It
and
also is hilarious. No, go on, host. No, go on, Don.
and it was funny because I'll be saying because at that chat at that time I was saying all the wall stuff because let's be real, I was trolling in that chat. You know what I mean? It was fun. So when Giorgio was like, "Oh, that's that dude from Telegram," I remember his voice. I was like, "Dang,
Yeah, I
my voice is
remember
that
that.
famous?"
Yes, that was me. The guy who went by JC Davis on Telegram, and then plus JC
Yeah,
actually is my legal name because I'm Jordan Christopher Davis. Though it's my name, though,
right.
known as
Yeah,
JC Davis. So it actually is my actual name. Even I have my full legal name on Telegram as well, JC
yeah,
Davis.
yeah. And it was fun. And it was funny because it was like, "Yo, who?" Like, I just went up and I just was like, "Yo, who the heck is this?" And he's like, "This guy's from Telegram." I was like, "Okay," because I've said like a lot of off the wall stuff that pissed off the guy Nor. But me and Nor were friends. But it was
I'm
just
not in
that
Nora. Yeah, I haven't been in Nora's group in years now. I'm not even interested because I don't want to be
yeah,
around those elements unless they are seeking to change. And a lot of them made it clear that they don't want to. So I'm like, okay, well, have a good life.
yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
I find it very bizarre that Mulatto Vanguard actually described me as a 70-year-old, pathetic, lonely incel.
No, no, you know what's funny? That guy
Well,
looks like a video game, look like a bald video game character.
look, let me tell you something. Look, but you know what's really pathetic? is to listen to Mulatto Vanguard going on with the same beast with Gigi for over 3 years. Okay, that's pathetic. That cries incel behavior. I mean,
Yeah,
to be constantly going on to the same people over the same piece and whatever. I mean, look, let me tell you something. I don't know a lot about mulattoes, okay, but as someone that talks about, wanting to represent mulattoes and create their own separate community. I mean, hey, if they want to form their own community, that's fine. But there's no need to denigrate other groups just to be proud of who you are. And the fact that you are calling me old and pathetic when I haven't had no issues with him, and then go constantly rehashing old battles with regarding Gigi and Dreamy. I mean, and Irby. I mean, come on. It's getting so old, I mean, it cries of being an incel. He's a bigger incel than than what he claimed that we are.
I mean, if you actually look at it, right, and and I'm just saying this for all haters, of course. You know, the people that hate us and everything like that.
Yeah,
There's one common denominator that I've actually seen, right? Is that when they actually get rage baited and everything like that, just because you express your opinion, 9 times out of ten, when they actually go and debate people, they're not debating people on the facts. They just using personal words or whatever just to get at you. They're not debating
yeah,
the facts. And for 2 years, I've debunked a lot of these guys' rhetoric against me. Number one, now I'm a fake Dominican. Okay, I went on Fighter's channel and I showed that I am, and they still telling lies. So that means that they're unintelligent if they have to use lies to get their point across. Number two, I actually took the DNA test, right? So second part is lies, saying that your father is only half Dominican. Okay, so let's put the logic right there. In what instance that my father will be a half Dominican? Let's be honest. My dad was born in the Dominican Republic, right? And so is my mom. So for you to go around and make the half truth to say that my dad was a half Dominican is actually false. Number two, I went up and I said from the get go what I am. I'm a I'm a Dominican, but I have West Indian roots. So what do idiots say? Oh, that would never happen. But yet you're contradicting me. But yet there's another content creator that has my same racial profile, right? But nobody goes around and question him. But yet you question me just because I don't speak Spanish like a regular Dominican, and I don't. And 9 times out of ten, the reason why people are just getting at me is not even because of that. It's because I don't believe or fit into their racial fantasy on what they actually want to create, what Latin America or the Dominican Republic is. So when you don't fit to that fantasy or you go against that grain or whatsoever, whether it be nationalism or something, they have no choice but to try to go against you because they see that you're powerful. You could hold your own.
no, 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 no. Seriously, how is carrying on a beef that's 3 years old and calling Georgia a fake Christian incel and me an elderly old incel? How that's improving the lives of mulattoes?
nothing. And like, I had no idea that he was even talking about me because I don't even listen to Vanguard's videos or streams at all, though. I mean, like the moment me and him parted ways, that was it, though. Until like Gigi
like told me though that in his videos he mentioned me regarding how I'm an incel or all this other stuff, and how then like another guy was telling me even before I found out about this is that okay that I'm a sin for magic mulatta and all this other
Mm.
stuff. So I mean the two-faced behavior I was already aware about, but the recent live stream regarding other people and regarding him his in his response to like Elan Jones who hasn't been around in years, I was not informed about that until somebody brought it up to me. But that's what also prompted me to make the video regarding what an incel actually is.
So basically, Georgia, the fact that you once had a very cordial relationship with magic, that makes you an incel. Got it.
Or a quote unquote simp. Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So let's get this right. So if the person has a relationship or a friendship with the woman, right, and you defend that woman as a friend, that makes you a simp. Okay. So what is a man attacking a woman for no type of reason? What does that make you?
Projection.
Exactly. That's my point. Because think about it. You got, you know what an incel, what really an incel really is. If you actually get down to it, is a rejected simp.
Mhm.
No, I'm serious. Think about it. When a man gets rejected and everything like that, we have our egos. We've been rejected. But I'm not going to go around and take
Mhm.
it that far to go around and attack the persons that have nothing to do with my hurt. I just attack the person that went up and caused the hurt, to be honest. Or I just don't care about it at all because now, I'm reading the Bible more.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
my thing, so my thing is this. Yeah, it's like when, like, yeah, certain people that think that okay, since you have people that that they don't agree with you whatsoever, you think that everybody's against you. So they create a narrative within their mind to say, okay, you're a simp. You know, they'll try to do anything to discredit you, but yet they don't have like their own shortcomings. So my thing is this: if you have a whole bunch of guys or men, who I should say, that actually try to put themselves or put out your information on the internet just so they can have a power trip, right? But yeah, if
Mhm.
they really had, but if they really had a beef with you, they'll actually go and say to your face, "What is that again?" I mean, I'm confused.
Okay.
this
Now this
boils
is the
down
actual.
to
Sorry, this is the actual definition of an incel. Okay. So this is what our haters say that we are. A member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile towards women and men who are sexually active. That is the definition of an incel.
mhm. And
Me
the
personally,
that rejection that they keep getting, even though they desire like some romance and sexual encounters, that rejection is rooted in their denigration and objectification too of women.
yeah, you want to know something which I actually see, which is funny. I don't know because maybe I'm not. I only started being a really serious content creator like around maybe at the end of 2021 or 2022. Yeah, I'll say it was 2022, right? So this is my thing. Why is it that I see a certain content creator that maybe or may not be rumored to have a relationship with another content creator, right? But yet, all the other content creators from 22 till now, they actually respect this content creator, but yet the whole reason they were going after the female content creators because, from my understanding, she did not give them the time of day of getting to date them and everything like that. So that's where they start with the slander and all this stuff, all trying to say that she's faking her ethnicity and whatsoever. When the fact is, she had to go through what I did, taking our taking our DNA test from Ancestry.com just to prove what we are.
Even that's not enough.
That's not enough for a liar. Think about it. If you're a professional liar, you want to go with the grain and everything like that. And I'm going to go and tell you this, though. I don't respect, and I'm going to say this honestly, I don't care who takes it. That's one of the reasons I don't respect Nat Measy whatsoever. Nat Measy and the whole bunch of people that was actually telling me, oh, I should not be Dominican. First of all, Nat Measy, I'm going to say this often. You ain't gonna you ain't gonna go in and dictate me you failed in lying on my name. You and all the other people failed on lying on my name. He wants to go with his New York adage saying, "Oh, Dominicans wasn't wearing afros in the 1970s." Like, where were you at? Dominicans were actually one of the first Latinos that was wearing a afro. Like, come on, that's one lie that's been debunked. Number two, Nat Measy and everybody want to try to tell me, oh, that my story is not valid and all this other stuff. But his story ain't valid either. Like the adage that he tells without actually giving up his story and stuff is that I was in PR and everything like that. Okay, so if you're in PR and everything and you telling and you could speak your Spanish, okay, you can speak your Spanish. But guess what? You ain't gonna go in and denigrate a person that that is the real deal. And when I actually showed my test, he was like, "Oh, they say that you only." I'm like, "Well, guess what? Stop lying on my name, then." You couldn't say nothing. So when you're dealing with professional liars and gaslighters and everything like that, even the ones that went up and try to go as far as saying that my own deceased relative was not my relative, you're dealing with a whole bunch of professional liars. They cannot even go with their face or came up to say, "Oh yeah, I was wrong, I was right, you was wrong," and they will never hold accountability. So I can't really hang with folks with that don't take accountability, and if they do, just to say, "Okay, you're wrong," you're still trying to lie on a person's name after they actually said that, like, "Yo, I am who I say I am."
Well, let me define what the actual definition of a simp because people I love calling people simps. Okay. A
Well,
simp is someone who shows excessive sympathy and attention towards another person, typically someone who does not reciprocate the same feelings in pursuit of affection or a sexual relationship. So basically, you know, when they call Georgia a simping for magic, basically what the deflection is that Georgia wants a romantic or a sexual relationship with magic, and magic does not reciprocate.
okay, clarification, and I know this for Georgia or anything like that.
Yeah.
Isn't isn't Magic married? So basically, you're actually disrespecting Georgia or saying that he wants a married woman, right? No, no.
Um,
Hear me out though. Hear me out
Maybe.
though.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
it was
So
complicated between her and I guess her husband at the time, but I never got into that mix. And then plus, I actually have spoken to her husband before because he used to actually come onto the Discords when he was like in the background. And I actually had a lot of respect for him, and I still do, because he was once telling me about like a really good side hustle, like I forgot that one app though, but it's the Walmart app where you
All
pick up
right.
from Walmart. I think it's Walmart Spark. I think it's called Spark because he told me about Spark. But
All right.
needless to say, he would be in the background hearing our conversations because
All right.
clearly telling him as another man is that, dude, I respect your marriage and thank you for telling me about the side hustling app Spark, which involves picking
Yeah.
up trees from Walmart. So
Yeah, but
for anybody
yeah.
you're thinking that I'm like trying to go around and do stuff with married women, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. So therefore, that's why I actually don't think is disrespectful. So this is my thing, right? Because Mulata, she actually came through and she was like, "Yo," she wanted, but she actually a part of me and was like, "Dad, you still on your channel? You still doing whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was certain stuff, but then when it was like on her Discord server, certain individuals I do not want to talk to because they're trying to create a false narrative saying that I'm SHing somebody when the fact is I don't even go that way to even SH the same sex. It's like to the or the same gender. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna go with. I told her flat out. People want to go and create a narrative, which to me, which everybody wants to go along with, and trying to get people jammed up with the authorities. I'm like, I ain't got time for you. And then on top of it, you want to go post people's information and everything like that, and then still trying to get a person jammed up with the authorities. I'm like, where does that work? Everybody got documentation. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really worried about that because, like, I already know that even people like that were trying to see whether I had a mugshot lingering around somewhere. But hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys. I mean, to them, it's bad news to them because they were very hopeful that I would have some kind of arrest record. I'm like, guys, no.
And
Real time, I
it's like,
may have talked my mess before, but overall, at the end of the day, I was harmless, and I'm still am to
right.
this day because if anybody ever wanted to get physical, and if I were to be able to tell that they wanted to get physical out from the distance, you want to know what my first instinct was, by the way? Walk away. Walk the other direction. Because in reality, I do not want to go there with you at all, no matter who you are. And at the time, you can't really try to get me arrested on me talking some mess at the time because at the end of the day, it was still under the First Amendment right, by the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was embracing radical ideologies, and I actually plan to even release even more of my old stuff, though, just to kind of show more of my transformative journey. But needless to say, in real time, I don't want to square up with you like that at all in real time. No. And then plus, with all the jobs that I had at the time, you don't want a record. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I find it hilarious when people say George is a murderous racist, murder, he's violent. It's hilarious though, because reality is polar opposite.
And it's fun and it's funny that because I have a deep amount of respect to a lot of the female content creators, that makes me a simp. Okay.
Now,
And
now, now, now you,
I actually have,
now,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
you know what's fun, you know what's messed up.
Go ahead, Donovan.
You know what's messed up, where I actually see a lot of this foolery. I mean, let's be honest. I didn't even. I just came. When I went up and I became, I guess, a content creator. I was in some, I wasn't in the way of trying to say anything because when I actually came on the scene, they accused me of being another content creator by the name of Corriente. Now I don't know who this person is or anything like that. I'm like, why you calling me this person? And then they told me the story of how this person was faking their ethnicity and stuff. I'm like, I don't know this guy. So why you put me with the guy that I don't know? Like, make it make sense.
I mean, look, a lot of the female content creators, okay, I either met a person or actually spoke to them off offline. Okay, Xena, I actually met her, sweet person,
Me too.
a wonderful,
Me too. Great
wonderful person,
person.
heart of gold. Denise,
Hmm.
another sweet person. I've never met her personally, but I've spoken to her offline.
Right.
Gigi Juju, a wonderful person. Okay,
I haven't
Keisha,
spoken to her. Yeah. Kai
yeah,
Shell, yeah.
Keisha,
I got her on my I
she's
got her on my
another
Facebook.
wonderful
That's
person.
it.
Okay, another
Hmm.
wonderful person. Okay, um, April Showers, another wonderful person. Miss Elite, Femi. So there's a whole, I would say, galaxy of female content creators that I've met, and I have a great deal of respect. But simply having a respect for someone from the opposite sex that makes you a simp.
It's like certain people. It's known on who I don't have respect for. And sadly enough, I don't even show. You will never see me in another platform again because I lost respect for certain people. So since that, I would rather show up to your show, either radical or I just do my own. Because let's be serious. There's certain people that they could actually be somewhat respected, right?
Yeah,
But then you have certain people that have no type of respect. So when you see certain
exactly.
people that they have no type of respect, why why the heck should I hang with you? Why the heck after after whatever happened with the internet or whatsoever, I should go in and actually hang with you or respect your opinions or anything like that. I'm out, and people could still talk crap about me, still trying to dox me because of certain stuff. And I've actually seen the docs been. They're actually trying to get me deported. Weirdos.
Well, speaking about weirdos. I'm still waiting for ICE to knock on my door.
Well, I'm still waiting for the police to come and arrest me, and somebody is that desperate to get me put in jail. You know.
Yeah.
So
Good
there you
evening.
go.
Good evening, Irby. I guess this is an insult convention. Yep, we have sick people that want us deported and want us to be sent to El Salvador.
Or arrested or sent to jail. Because that
Just
dude's
because
Gee,
still
just
has
because we hurt their feelings.
yeah. Because the
gee, I
dude
didn't know.
still has, because like Irvy, that dude still has his video of me, right? Of my 2018 video though, where if you look at his the comment section, he says, "Proud Boy George unleashes, arrest him." Oh my
Or
god,
or me
hilarious!
or being or me. I didn't know I became a 70-year-old. Gee, I didn't know I aged 8 years in 1 year.
That's hilarious. Arrest him. All right.
I mean, look. Unfortunately, the whole saying, hurt people hurt people. I mean, I mean,
Yeah, and like
and that's
talking about
something
like
that I did not think I'm gonna have to experience. Go
so the
ahead.
thing is that just hilarious trying to get people locked up or sending protective orders, but let alone sharing videos, old videos of myself though, and even saying my mom's real name, dude. So yeah, I think you may want to self-examine first before you think about what other people say to you. But kind of reminds me of that saying, you can dish it out, but you can't take it. Can't take it if maybe somebody else wants to match your energy. I think it's reveals more about you as opposed to your targeted quote unquote ops. So that's the bottom line. But yeah, I'm seeing a
Well,
bunch. I see people's real names being mentioned. I see people's family members, real names of family members getting mentioned who have nothing to do with the situation. I see an entire
yeah,
page dedicated to other people. I'm like, okay, so it's a crumbling case. Sorry.
yeah. But one thing I find that's really troubling that some of the female content creators are being targeted, and it's just basically by frustrated, lonely men that don't know how to approach a lady properly.
Well, just send me a holy spirited woman, and I think we would vibe very well.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
What I was trying to
Okay.
say is that if you have a lot of people, right, that I've been around educated people and such, what is it? And you want to go and try to bring down everybody or try to make everybody lose their housing or lose their freedom and everything. Let's talk about how you're actually helping people. I don't see that around your resume. I don't see people actually educating others so they could actually do good. No, you just no. You have certain people that have like a negative spirit that they want to see people do their worst so they could actually say, "Hey, I got you" and everything. But then when people don't go into their messed up program, they'll actually try to make more lies on the person. And to me, I just don't respect that anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, look, I don't like to talk about myself all that much. But look, when I think about myself, look, first of all, I've been a municipal employee for over 25 years. I'm also a union rep. I also hold union wide office as a trustee. So you think I'm going to waste my time with people who have issues? I mean, basically, they're beneath my contempt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why am I going to entertain them? I mean, Mister tried to in vain my cyber home. The first time he was blocked. The second time he was banned
Right.
because apparently, look, let me tell you something. How another content creator operates, them, they're free to do whatever they want. I don't, I don't know if you remember the old TV show in the 80s in Living Color, where there was a part about Homie the clown, and Homie says, "Homie, don't play that." Well, Jose don't play that.
Right.
I mean, if you think you're going to come over here and you're going to be disrespectful and try to take over the you know the channel, you're sadly mistaken.
Well, he doesn't bother you anymore, so I'm no longer worried about Mister.
Not only that, but I do remember how you once said that maybe I ought to bring him up onto one of my panels on my page. Jose, probably not going to happen. Not only is he not interested in me at all, but I would not want him bringing his personal issues over to my page and tainting it.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Well, because he dang for sure knows that he cannot call me illegal. That's going to be the last thing that he would ever call me, because I'm like, dude, you call me that, then you are making yourself look even dumber than you actually are.
Mm.
That will be one giant mistake if he were to ever call me that. Dude, it's pretty clear that I was born and raised in California, the Bay Area, Berkeley, Oakland, and Richmond, California, by the way. So you'd be a fool to say that I'm not an American who is fully legal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because even my dad is born and raised in the Bay Area too. It's from Richmond, California.
Mhm.
I mean, in fact, me and much of my siblings were all growing up in the East Bay. So
Wow.
there you go.
Now another person. Okay. Now I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't have an issue with Marquise. I mean, he claims when he is. I mean, I don't personally. I really don't. It doesn't matter either way whether he's married or not married, whatever, or whether, he's being fictitious regarding his career, whatever. I mean, I don't care either way. But it seems like Mr. Lee has an issue with Marquise because apparently him and Mister have teamed up for whatever reason. Again, I don't have an issue with Marquise. I mean, basically, it's whatever.
Yeah, I don't really know him that well enough to really make an opinion on him, to be
Right.
quite honest. But wait, wasn't he like that guy who was on Gigi's live stream?
He might have been. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. Probably a different person. Yeah, I don't really know him that well enough to really say much about him.
Okay. What little I know about Marquise underscore 912. Uh, he's someone that stated he was married. I don't know if he is or is not. I really don't care either way. But apparently, Mr. Lee has an issue with him.
Mhm.
Other than that, I really don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do know that. Yeah, you do have the trend of married people who are kind of doing some weird stuff on YouTube. That's for sure. Or people who are allegedly married. Because that's just kind of funny. That got me thinking about something too. Like when Angry Biracial made like a second video addressing me, and he brought up Future and how I was planning to fly her out here. And I laughed at that because for one, she was actually all about that 3 years ago, by the way. And then not only that, even if she were married, that is not something that she disclosed to me. Because for one, I was a single man
Yeah.
at the time who was ready to get back into the dating scene. I'm just like, well, okay, I haven't been in a relationship in quite some time, so sure, maybe I can just see how long distance is going to go. So therefore, okay, if she it's going to be the one, then okay, let me see where this goes and test the waters here. And then she said how it was quote unquote tempting to accept the plane ride. But then now it was then revealed that she was allegedly married. And I'm just like, well, to be quite honest, since it's old, I'm not even that, by the way. I'm just disappointed in how she handled that, though, because I'm just like, if you see that this is a single man who is interested in getting back into the dating pool, don't you think that you should disclose your marital status? Because it's going to say a lot more about you than the man who is seeking some kind of relationship. But then she only ended up saying that she was quote unquote old, which I'm like, I don't know how old you really are. I thought you were younger. But then that's where she recommended me to that other woman in Baltimore. And then I started talking to her. But then me, other girl from Baltimore, we didn't work out, but we ended on good terms. No beef with her. She has no beef with me. And hey, that was it. And then that's where Gigi was telling me that oh, she became jealous of you and such and such. I mean, jealous
I mean,
of the other woman, though. I'm just like, what? I'm just like, okay, that says something about Future then. But yet she kind of wanted to walk around like with a persecution complex and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, girl, come on. You know
no,
exactly what happened,
you
though.
want to know.
You're not really a saint in that at all. You're just led by your emotions. You love to gossip and just say a whole bunch of stuff in the Discord server, though. But then when that stuff comes to light, you basically want to backtrack. That's just not really how it works. And much like how she once told me, take accountability, which I'm glad that I did. You got to be, like I've said before to anybody who says that, please be sure to take your own advice as well. Because if you don't, that's what is making you a hypocrite. Somebody who gives other people advice but doesn't show that same kind of energy and advice to themselves. That's what you call hypocrisy. But the thing is, Don, I'm so glad that I can be transparent about what's going on, though, because look, I'm not even bothered by that incident at all. Otherwise, I wouldn't be open about it because it's already said, it's done. I'm just like, yeah, it happened, but it's already said and done. But just don't deny what happened.
I mean, this one thing that I don't understand about this situation. Now I'm going to tell you what was told to me. I don't care. I'm transparent. So apparently, the person was asking me. The person was asking me, okay, oh, how did I know you? I was like, I knew him before on YouTube. And then they went up and they tried to make the adage that, oh, that you was stalking them and everything like that. Now, I know this from a grain of salt, Jojo, and we know each other. You you don't do those types of actions. You know what I'm trying to say?
No,
And
I'm just like, a lot of people coming at me though and sharing my face all over their Twitter accounts, and let alone pinning my face on like one of their Twitter accounts according to what people are showing me though. So I'm like, who's the real stalker now? So
and then you were telling me of of a person trying to get you in trouble with the law.
get me arrested. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like, to me, is the
Yeah, somebody
I'm like,
showing me that the FBI and Nevada State Police were tagged in something. I'm like, yeah, typical. I'm just like, don't you think that you probably are the stalker? You know?
Well,
or this
speaking
is or this is
about,
what I'm saying or this is what I'm saying, right?
yeah,
Now, for a person to be so interested in a single man, remind you, a single man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're married, aren't you? I'm just being honest. Aren't you supposed to give that attention to your spouse instead of a single man that don't want you?
And I'm straight. Thank you very much. I'm straight.
Exactly. So therefore, my thing is that if a female who is married and you going after a single man just because your feelings got hurt, from what I'm just actually seeing from there, maybe your relationship with your husband, you need to work on the relationship with your husband instead of actually trying to entertain a single man. that don't want you. I'm just saying for all the women that feel like giving them a single man stress. Please don't, because we don't recommend it, and we don't want your stress. All the sing for and all the single men don't want your stress. You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
stop doing that. And stop doing that. I
Yeah, and
mean,
even Irby is saying something too in the comments. I'm like, you and Irby, when you said people cannot be trusted on YouTube, especially the space. Well, I'm like, Irby, dude, all I'm just going to tell the woman next time, you better disclose to a single man that you are married, well, allegedly married, because Irby, that woman at the time did not tell me that she was married though until somebody else said it. Like,
mm,
come on, man, that's not fair at all to me in this situation though, because that could put me in danger, to be quite honest. And no, I'm not even playing victim here though, because for one, I was still a part of the problem though, but the other person becomes hell even another problematic element too if you're not going to disclose to them that you're married. No, like that tells me that a person that or if she or future really is married, if she had to say that, oh, it was tempting to fly all the way out here to Vegas while she was allegedly married, that's telling me, or that at least was telling me, that it must be some complicated marriage that's going on, and it's caused you to become alienated from your alleged husband or something. If that person is really married or not, I don't know. That's the mystery woman with the Brooklyn accent, or Bronx, or whatever. Who knows though? But people, next time, be honest about your relationship status, because I've
yep.
seen a bunch of crazy stuff already in my lifetime, by the way, and I've seen what happens when an innocent party member is sucked into some relationship with somebody who turned out to be married and involved, but that other person never disclosed that relationship status. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like, where's your moral
like,
compass going? Where's your self-respect too, though? Like, it's
like
okay if you're having like a complicated relationship in your marriage, but that's what I would have be what I would have said. Go to marital counseling, okay? But don't try to get a single man involved in your stuff.
yep.
'Cause, oh, yeah,
I mean, I remember, like,
married to the right woman
like around,
myself.
around Christmas time, I met this woman in her 40s or whatever, and we just went to have a normal conversation. Next thing you know, she's calling me talking about, well, she wants to engage in this form of sexual intimacy and that form of sexual intimacy. And it's like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go from meeting? Okay, and I'm trying to keep this at least PG rated. Okay, how do you go from basically wanting to meet someone and then all of a sudden wanting to biblically know somebody, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly, three women wanted to engage in intercourse with me. Really, really?
Wow.
I mean, let's be honest, and I'm gonna just say this, right?
Yes.
For like when I was single, right?
Hmm.
You know what single women used to go and say to me? What was the epitome of why they liked me in the first place? They said they didn't like my lips. I was like, okay. And then, in my past employment, there was a HR and there was a woman that actually sat behind my back that she was gonna destroy my marriage just because with her illusion thinking that I have money, right? So one day, right, I was just eating I was just eating my food, right? I see that female HR, and I see that woman that wants to quote unquote destroy my marriage, looking at me eating. Now, to me, I don't know what they was looking at because I look crappy that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted to just go home, take a shower, whatsoever. I look like I was burnt out. You know what I'm trying to say? But for some reason, these women just stopped and were just looking at me for like 10 or 20 seconds of me eating my food. I even asked my wife, why would women or just actually stop in in the dead middle of what they're doing just to see me eat? Like, there's nothing special. I had to go to my best friend in Florida, and I told him like the scenario of what happened, and then he told me something of what women were actually looking at.
Mhm.
So there was actually wishing that my lips was in other orifices. I was like, no wonder no wonder those two were looking at me while I was eating, and I can grasp the moment. Like what is so like what is so like what is so you know so exciting about me eating my food? And then when he told me that, I was like, oh, that's what. Now I get it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Some weird stuff on YouTube. It's a crazy, crazy sector, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, talking about that, you heard that well rest in peace to Brian McKnight's son. It's a strange son like that. He passed away from cancer.
Mhm.
No, I didn't.
Well,
I
you
don't
know,
follow that. I didn't know.
yeah. And
But
then everybody talking about the stuff from the Dittmer trial whatsoever. And then which I guess is major news is that Cardi B is wishing her soon to be ex-husband to be deleted slow.
I honestly forgot all about Cardi B, to be quite honest, though, because that's just how so out of touch I am when it comes to her. I pray for
Yeah.
her salvation, though, along with everybody else's. But that woman right at the moment, though, is just too toxic.
Oh yeah,
And
of course.
but that's okay because she still has plenty of fresh air in her lungs. And I actually do hope that and pray that she actually does have a wonderful spiritual awakening or a road to Damascus experience because I would love to see that in Cardi, but it just doesn't seem like at the moment that's what she wants. So therefore, I just avoid her.
Yeah. Yeah, I just if I see something which is weird or anything like that, or something telling me that that person's weird, or something just not vibing, I just I just lay back and I chill because 9 times out of 10, what that person does or anything like that, it's like okay, yeah. I'll give you another example. I was
Mhm.
on Instagram Live, and there was an attractive woman or whatsoever, right? And then
Yeah.
there's my friend that knows my family and such. So I just came up on the panel on Instagram, and I was just chilling and everything like that, not doing nothing, just being me, right? So I went up and I told my friend's partner, I was like, "Yeah, I think my cousin knows you." He's like, "Oh, who's your cousin? We never been to each other." I'm like, "Yeah, it's like my cousin." Then her mate, which is his mate, who was my friend, was like, "Yo, Don Amando," and everything like that. So we just talking. The next thing you know, the friend that was, all celebratory and everything like that, went up and took one look at me, and she was like, "Oh, she was asking in Spanish, ¿Quién es el bonito?" I was like, "Why, thank you, but I'm married." I just went up and I shut it down just like that. But I was like, "Well, thank you for the compliment, though, but I'm I'm already taken." So just forwards and everything like that. It's just that I found out that if I were to even do anything or do whatever, that person is of a faith that is not Christian. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna, I'm like, you just see certain people from far, and that's it. Because what that person into might be into, which is their religious stuff, is not something that I'm going to be into. So I'm not going to try to be around that ambiance. I just say, or the area if I want to. Don't get me wrong. You have a lot of people who are different faiths and everything like that, but if you know that certain stuff, certain values is not your values, you just wait that one out.
I mean, what's crazy, gentlemen, is like there's this person in my job that identifies herself as a Christian. Now, I'm not going to question a person's walk with God, but yet this person's a Christian, but yet decided not to have any dialogue with me for whatever reason, and then arbitrarily decided to put into the same request for vacation time that I put in.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know how this person is with their relationship with God, because that's really not my place.
Right.
But to not even have a discussion with me regarding the fact that you're requesting, and you're not even sure, well, whether or not that you're going to take it off the same time. When I have a discussion with my supervisor about it months ago, I mean, that
Yeah.
just shows how toxic some people are.
Yeah. I mean, if you really look at it, and I was just explaining this with certain people. It's like whenever you go to like a corporate setting, it's like, okay, you have certain people that if you don't read your rule book, that will actually backdoor you in the corporate sense. If you get what I'm trying to say. So it's like even though that you can have a nice job, a nice dependable job, you will have certain people that will actually backdoor you just because either you're the new person, we could get them out of there, or whatever the reason, or they don't like you just because you're not into company events or you're not cool with certain people. What well, me, it's like when I was working for 5 years at my company, at the company I was working at, there was only maybe one person I hung out with from that company. The rest, you know, when I found out that their morals or what they were did not vibe with my morals, I just didn't hang with them. Like case for example, there was a guy that could have been nice or whatever to me, right? But then he got mad just because I went up and I was waiting for a friend, so I could give that person pizza, right? And after he stopped talking to me and everything like that, which I don't really care. I found out later that he was a predator, a registered predator. So it was always something off, but I never really caught on to it until after that pizza situation. And then after that pizza situation, I found out that he was a registered predator. I didn't talk to that person at all. That person tried to get me fired and trouble and everything like that. And then when the layoff happened, they were they were actually pissed. They was actually mad. And then when I actually started coming into their sector, which is my last sector, they were actually mad because me and and that only friend, we actually had like a good friendship, like a brotherhood. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So my thing is that my thing is that if you're also mad at certain people that know what you are, and then you want to actually base your stuff as a lie, and then there's stuff that you can see, there's cracks that you see that you're not original with nothing. You're you want to try to copy the ideas of somebody else's, so therefore you could get notoriety. But yeah, you know that that person is like 10 times smarter than you. I saw it all play out, and it played out that at the last day when I actually got certain stuff, I just got certain stuff, and that was it. I had no time. I had no time on and stuff to actually talk to individuals outside the job that that they were always trying to have a new plot to get me out of the way professionally. And that's one thing that I'm thinking that we have to teach the youth instead of all this violence and stuff, because let's say for the ones that actually go to the corporate world and everything like that. One thing is for certain,
Mhm.
people do not respect what you're trying to do or anything like that. They don't respect your education and stuff. You have to know how to play with the politics. No one's know how certain laws is done. So therefore, if they try to get you unjustly, you have to read the company rules. And if it doesn't go with legislation or law or what's going down, you have to know your rights.
Yeah. I mean, look, when I think when I think about the whole thing, that this person that you know, if he decide not to have any not to talk to me, hey, that's fine. That's not my issue. That's that person has the issue. But I mean, to be honestly, to be requesting the same time arbitrarily, and then that person decide to advocate and go to a union rep and not share all the information. Well, guess what? I can do the same thing, but it's sad when people go that way over a vacation request and something that I planned months ago. That just kind of show you how toxic it is in the work environment, not just in YouTube.
Mm.
But then again, Don Armando, you bought your subs. George is simping for magic, and I'm 7 years old.
You know what? I got my subs out the mud, and I'm proud to say that. What people don't understand is that I had that people could say, "Oh, you bought his subs." Okay, how? Because technically, YouTube will know if you bought your subs or not. I don't know, but they have it. But they know it. So if I went up and I just went and I did not participate in the American sector, But yet, I actually networked with other people who are not of none of your sectors. You know, people that are from Japan, Indonesia, the Philippines. They do their stuff early, meaning that our time, which is 11:10, is 11:10 p.m. In some of those
Yeah.
places, it's actually 11 a.m. Saturday. So if I go like every night and they like me and they subscribing to my content and I look at their content, right? Whether it be cooking and everything. You think that you think that I'm gonna go and pay for anything when I'm just the fact is that I'm just actually showing respect for their culture and they're showing respect for mine.
Yeah.
Like so my thing is that how did I bought subs? Because everybody wants to say that I bought this, and then they want to go and try to tell me what I should go and spend my money for. The last time I checked, he wasn't my parents. You ain't gonna go around and tell a man what he should do to his wife. You ain't gonna go around and tell a man what he should do this. Because 9 times out of 10, and when you go and take an advice from a negative person, they don't really mean you good. So therefore, I'm not gonna go and follow the advice of a negative person. That's it.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. Uh, but it's deflection, deflection, deflection. And so when I do my stream regarding the incels, there's going to be certain people that are going to be triggered. You know what? Whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah.
They're not paying your bills, so why should you care?
Oh well.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't have to pretend that I'm engaged. I don't have to pretend that I'm married.
I don't have to pretend that I'm a homeowner.
I don't really have to pretend to be anything though, because all about that transparency. So, what is there
Yeah.
to be dishonest about?
Mhm.
Or
Oh,
you know what's funny when a gaslighter cannot even keep their eyes straight about a person and it feels so miserably in the long run.
yeah. Well,
Because this is the thing. They was like, oh, you're not Dominican at all. To the point that, oh, you're not the you're not Dominican. And then they want to go and try to say me not Dominican. Like, pick a struggle. Because all your struggles is failing. Let's keep it in the buck.
right. Yes, I think somebody else said that somebody's going around saying that I never had a child. I'm like, were you around when me and my ex fiance were together? Because that was, in fact, a woman that I had a child with, and we almost married one another. So that's just hilarious. So I'm just like, so you must know about my previous relationship very, very well, to where you confidently say that somebody did not ever exist. That's funny.
Or
Or
better
that,
yet, that person must know my whole family just to be confident to say that that person who lost their life in the jet set tragedy was not related to me.
or in my case, that I'm a disappointment to my mom and all my family's dead.
Or how your mom deserved better. Yeah, that one. But yeah, I'm just like, did you have kids? But no, I
Uh,
actually did become a dad, and I've already been very well open about that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, or better yet,
Yes.
they went up and they were trying to say, "Oh, I'm gonna make sure of all these stuff." Not really, just because your feelings got hurt. Okay, and I knew, and it's funny because I knew that this insult was coming, like for 2 months. Like how unoriginal you are. If you know that what was gonna come was like the first thing's like, "Oh, you bought your subs." You cannot even do that no more. So therefore, you could go and talk all that gibberish. 9 times out of 10, nobody's even listening to your gibberish. So the next time, just say my whole name, and then people will correct you. What you're gonna do is block and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna talk about you, whatever." So you're talking about another man for 2 years. I don't know heterosexual men that actually do that. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah, I'm just like saying that not even my unborn child ever existed. I'm like, uh, yes, he did. I'm not even get into that. That's just hilarious. I think it's just some more attention seeking behavior is what that is.
Yeah, it's funny that a person could actually
Yeah.
comment and everything, but guess what? Who cares?
Totally. I mean, it's like my son would be starting kindergarten, to be quite honest.
Yeah, but God's gonna give you another opportunity. So just pray, just keep praying for you to actually be in a Christ-centered marriage. That's all I gotta say.
Yep, that's the goal.
And of course, my lady's coming this summer to visit me.
Oh, talking about that. How's everything that you met with that sister? How's that going? Is it a friendship or what, George?
That I met with who? What's going on?
That you met from with the nice lady from my parents' country.
Oh yeah, the one who's a part of one of my church groups.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So she's back now, but she actually went back to the DR, by the way, just on like a family business trip though. But yeah, she's back now.
All right. So how's that friendship going?
I'm not really close to her like that, to be honest. Though,
Okay.
I'm taking like my sweet
Baby
time.
steps.
Yes,
Gotcha.
baby steps. Like she once asked me for my number, and yeah, I gave it to her. We have each other's
Well,
numbers now, but I'll be honest, we have never, ever, nobody has ever initiated a phone call or a text message, to be quite honest.
well, this is one thing I gotta say. It's not a relationship or anything like that. But one thing that I'm going to say to you, Georgia, is that I want you to come and visit the Dominican Republic. You get what I'm trying to say?
I'm open.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of believers out there. So
Yeah,
and
that's
there's some believers and there's some believers that actually speak good English too. So
yeah,
you know
that's true. And what's funny though about her is that when she first saw me at the group, you want to know what she told me?
what
She thought that I was Dominican, which is so
I mean,
just
I mean you could pass for it, but
yeah, that's what she thought. When I first saw her, though, I thought that she was like Creole. I'm just like, oh, I actually thought that you were
uh,
like Creole, like my family. Though it's funny that when we both saw each other in our groups, at the end, we both made a comment about how we thought that we were also a fellow member of our ethnicity. That was hilarious because
but tech but
she looks like she
but
could be
tech
Louisiana Creole, like a
but
mix.
technically, Georgia, don't you have like don't you have like you have Spanish or you have more French background or you have both?
It's both. The
Okay.
if you are like specifically you really are like Louisiana Creole as I am, like through both of my parents' sides.
Mhm.
Some of us are also going to have ancestral ties to the Iberian Peninsula because you got to look at it like this. There was a certain point in time where the Spanish crown did have dominion over the Louisiana territory under King Carlos
Yes.
III, starting in 1762.
Oh yeah, because Zacharias, he actually said that. So therefore,
Yeah.
Zacharias
So we
was,
do have
was
a bloodline from that time.
yeah,
But
and
it is
then and then
mainly
and then there
Francophone.
was and then on top of it, one day when they were talking about the last Spanish speaking Creoles, at first when I went up, I was like, yo, that might be Zacharias on people. They was like, oh, you know that Zacharias talking. I'm like, how's Zacharias talking when he actually showed me the records? Like, I had to correct somebody on that because certain people could talk all this stuff, but if a person went up and looked into the documents and stuff, you cannot go around and tell that person, oh, that person is not that when they actually have the documentation to say it, or when they actually did
But yeah,
background check, the background check to see what they are about. So,
well, I've already shared that a million times here on my page, but it's just people don't believe it. That's their problem. But
you know,
yeah, but I'll be honest, like with you and Jose regarding the Dominican girl from one of my church groups.
hmm
The Lord did shift my priorities away from dating, though, and that's probably why I did not even text message her or call her. To be quite honest, I'm just letting the Lord pull the strings here, and
right?
He will give me a sign about whether it's time. Okay, but right now
Yeah, I got you.
any sign to hit that girl
Uh,
up at all because you really want to make sure that the Lord is pulling the strings when it comes to dating and let alone because look, you date in order to marry. Even Jose knows that too. And I'm also
hmm
making sure that I'm guarding my heart. So if the Lord starts giving, more and more signs that yeah, maybe it's time to, you know, invest in this woman, then for sure. But right now, bro, I'm not feeling that. But I'm open. I'm open. I will say that, even though there's been a shift in my priorities.
Right,
So
um,
maybe I think so. Maybe at our next group, she'll come back and we'll see.
right.
But right now, bro, I'm not rushing it, and neither is that woman either. But
Got
I'll
you.
keep you
um,
updated. What's up, Jose?
guys, I hate to cut this short, but I do have to start the wrap it up because I want to keep it no more than 2 hours. So let's start taking
Right.
last remarks, starting with you, George R.
Just I guess to say this in a closing statement regarding what we were just talking about, I would just say this is that, with you, Jose, as you already know, you date in order to marry, though, but we also have to be careful about who we date. And so, men of God, though, also be careful about who you're going to marry, too, though. That's also very important. And that's just why us as men have to let the Lord pull our strings when it comes to the dating pool. And if you don't let him
Okay.
pull your strings, then you are going to set yourself up to fail. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining. Don Armando, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is this: don't let those. If you're a man, don't go and let these incels or red pill guys dictate on how you should treat a woman, how much success you are, because 9 times out of 10 they're scammers. What you should do is go with people that you know that are successful in their faith, successful in their word and everything. And 9 times out of 10, try to find a woman that is right for you, that you and her might have the same belief systems, and also that y'all actually have a smooth that y'all could actually have like a smooth discourse, but at the same time you could say that y'all actually love each other and such. And with that said, I'm out.
Okay, thank you very much for stopping by, Don Armando. My final thoughts of this. When it comes to matters of the heart, always seek the Lord's discernment above all. and look at things very, very carefully. And regarding those who use the word incel, they're the real incels, not us. But
Right.
with that being said, just want to say to them, those who are watching the playback, you know what to do. Make sure your comments are respectable. And I'm gonna close the same way that I always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron saying good night, take care, and peace.